So before I get going on why I think NIO might hit a new high before earnings, and I'm thinking maybe 57, maybe $60. 57 for some reason seems like the number. And before I get into the details on that and why I think it could happen, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the videos. Let's get this thing going. Let's get a NIO following, and I want others to weigh in. I don't want to be the only one talking. I want some dialogue. I would love comments from people who have made observations about NIO, about the Chinese market, the EV market, any and all you can share or think to say. Please do, because certainly one of the ways that we can learn is together and by sharing knowledge and information. And I'm enjoying this, but I also am enjoying learning and studying what others have to say, and it's all good. So, all right, here we go. So, one of my contacts today asked me what I thought might happen with NIO leading into earnings. Now, earnings, I believe, is going to be Tuesday night after hours for us here in the States. So, that gives us two business days where the NIO train can really pick up some steam. But I'm not just basing my potential for the $57 mark on that. There are a few things happening. I know that the earnings report is going to be positive. It's going to be good. It's probably going to be great. And what I mean by that is NIO's actually fairly transparent. It's one of the things I like about them. They do their monthly deliveries, and so you can kind of track what they're doing. And they've set records for consecutive months now, and they've actually come out and said that moving forward, that's going to be the norm. Every month they're going to continue setting new records and breaking records. That's just going to be the norm. So, I mean, for the foreseeable future, that one thing, and we're not even going to get into that in this video, but that's one of the reasons that I'm like, okay, great. So, what's a good buy-in point? I mean, this thing's going to keep going up. So, it's crazy. It's just crazy the way that they have taken off, and yet they're going to keep going. I see it. There may be a pullback. There may be a few pullbacks. I actually hope that there are. I think that's a good sign for healthy growth. But as we saw Friday, first thing in the morning, it was up. And then they hit a new high. And then there was this news that came out, and a lot of people maybe sold, got scared. I think there was probably there were probably a lot of option plays going. There was a ton of action with NIO. It was twice what it normally is, and interestingly enough, by the end of the day, even though it went up to a new high and then dropped or crashed, as some people would say, all the way down to $40 from 54 and change, it still ended up the day at 44 and about 50 cents, something like that, 56 maybe. And I thought that was noteworthy because when I saw the trade volume, I thought, wow, there are some big dogs getting in, or they're coming back to the table for seconds. They're already in, and they know what they've got. And so they are jumping because they know they're not going to get a lot of great buying opportunities like this with this stock, possibly again. And sure enough, I did a little research today, and that looks to be the case. There were some very big dogs who added shares or entered or made moves and bought, and that was one of the reasons the stock was already going back up. But even if you step away from that, the way I have watched NIO move since June when I first bought in is it establishes a new high, then it comes back down, and it finds wherever the floor is for the stock to trade at that point. And then it just kind of trades sideways, as they say, and it just kind of goes a little back and forth, a little back and forth. After a bit, sure enough, it's going to break out, and it's going to hit a new high, and we are going to see that. We might see it Monday. We might see it Monday and Tuesday. We might see it Tuesday. But leading into earnings, especially after we just had this drop, and yet after the drop, we had a relatively quick recovery, I think there's an excellent chance that the stock goes to 57 or higher. Another reason I think that could happen is the big reason for the stock drop the way it was seemed to be this report that I don't even know if it should be termed a report. It was just a party, I think, who was looking for some attention, some free media, and dude got it. I said in another video that, and I named him a party because I wasn't going to give him, the airtime. So it doesn't really matter. He's gone. So that did affect, and I think it was probably a healthy thing because I heard it somewhere or read it where the weak investors end up peeling off when there's the first sign of distress, or there might be an issue, or a stock might have whatever going on, anything that's not clear and positive and easy, and you sort of find out who's, you test the mettle of a lot of investors, who the disciplined ones are versus the ones that are not. Of course, there's also a lot of day trading going on, and so, without getting into all of that. But the point being, I looked at it as a good, healthy move overall. And again, my position is a long-term one, so I can afford to look at it that way. I'm doing very well, having bought in initially at $6 and change. So I'm feeling pretty good about things. And I'm just wondering if we could be so lucky as to have it stay in the $40 range leading into earnings. I would like to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen because I almost want it to go a little slower than it has been, because I want more retail investors. Heck, I want to get some more. And, we are limited. We can't just, I say big dogs, and I'm talking about the ones who can just, come in there with 1 million shares and at, $40, $50, whatever. I can't do that. I'm not that size. I'm not that big. And a lot of retail investors are not. So I'm kind of the underdog. I root for the little guy. That's me. And I think that's a lot of the folks viewing this. And so go us. And, it's not that we're not on the same team as the institutional investors. We are on the same team. We just need to get in the game sooner because they're going to drive the price up, and it's going to make it a premium and very difficult for us to try to keep pace with them. So we want them in the game, just not till the second quarter or third quarter or fourth quarter. And this is really, I said it in another video, there are 3 phases of growth that I feel are clearly defined, and this is one of them. It's the first one. But the trade volume alone on Friday tells me that we have got big dogs coming to the table, or they are already at the table and they're coming back for seconds. And the little bit of research I did sure seems to validate that. So let's see. The other thing that happened is the party that came out with that report, and I started to allude to it earlier, has kind of been, I don't know, I think enough has been published about that party and how that party is not only probably not too credible, but also, I mean, there are a lot of people making a lot of crazy allegations, and I don't even want to get into all that, but the long and short of it is, I'm just writing it off as somebody who was looking for a free media play and got it, and whatever, let's keep it moving. Like I said, it was an opportunity to peel off some of the weak investors, and let's see who's disciplined, let's see who's actually looking for the long haul and being on board this thing. It's I see it going so much further, and I'm conservative, so I haven't actually said where I think it's going to go, but I think it's going to go a long way. I think if I told viewers how far I think it is going to go, I don't know that a lot of them would really see it or agree with it, but I also don't think a lot of investors or parties, when I started first talking about NIO back in June, when it was at $6 and change, I don't think a lot of people would have seen it do what it has done to this point, or even half of what it's done to this point. So that's all right. That's the fun part of the ride, is we get to see where it goes. And if you have the long-term mentality, then don't worry about it. Let's just analyze and pay attention and study and make sure we're not missing something, and make sure that we are buying intelligently if we're buying, and holding fast if we're waiting. So in any event, I think it'll be fun to see if earnings brings about a $57 price. That's kind of my, I don't know why, I'm just throwing that out there. I guess it would be a new high. So again, the way that NIO trades pattern wise is if it goes to that point, it should drop soon after. Soon is relative. What does that mean? Within an hour, immediately, next day, same day. I think part of it is the timing. And again, we may go up over 60. I did say in another video, an earlier video that I made, that I thought we might see $60 by the end of the year. One of the reasons is that I knew that there was this report coming up, earnings report. And I also knew that there would be some more positive news, which I haven't even talked about yet. We'll do that in another video. And so you can almost kind of track, like, okay, good news, good news, good news. So it's fairly predictable the way things are going to go. And now we've even gotten a taste of, hey, what happens when bad news comes out? And we've seen, yes, there definitely is a reaction, but there is even more. And I think it was a sign of strength for NIO to come back the way it did on Friday, same day, especially at the end of the week. But equally important, we're still now in this phase where we can kind of analyze and see moving forward, what's it going to do? Because we're still kind of in the recent, okay, we just had this sort of shift, and there was a, negative news report that came out, valid or not, whatever. A lot of people reacted. And then there was a follow-up action. And now let's see what happens. I'll be fascinated either way. If this thing jumps, I kind of expect it to do that. But if it doesn't, and if it hovers in the $40 range, cool. And better yet, great for any retail investors who haven't been able to get in and who want to get in, or for any investors who just want to add to their stockpile of shares. Let's go. I mean, either way. Now, I will say this, whether it goes to 57, whether it goes to 60, wherever it goes at earnings, I do see, because there will be good, probably great earnings reports, I see it peaking and going up. Whatever that dollar amount is, I do think we'll still see some kind of a sell-off, profit-taking, call it what you want. Some people are going to see the dollar signs, and they're going to want to cash something out. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying it seems like that is a common trend. So let's see if it happens. And at that point, I will be curious, and I am looking to possibly buy back in again. And I'm really curious if it's going to end up being cheaper to do that after earnings or early in the week. I have a feeling it's going to be a little expensive, but leading up into earnings. And so I just don't know how expensive. We go to earnings and it gets to 57, 60 bucks a share. And then after earnings, maybe it only drops to 50. And maybe that's the new floor. I do expect that. I don't know if I expect it this week. That's what I don't know. And that's kind of the fun. And for me, that's exciting because I see it going there. Long term, it's going way beyond that. But I don't know. Will we see that this week? We might. We might see 57. We might see 60 by the middle of this week. And then probably a healthy pullback. And let's see where we're at. But moving forward, let's go. Let's go earnings. Let's see if I know what I'm talking about with my little overview and analyzing and just random armchair predictions. So, as always, I want to thank you for watching, and please like, please share, please subscribe. I'll see if I can get another video out before the weekend's over. Thanks.